This week on The Big Room.
And then the face.
Ugh, it's creepy.
And then the face.
The face peers
I
out.
can't imagine that in theaters
And we
because it
all-
scared the piss out of me in my
I
mouth.
knew it was coming because I read it.
Yeah. I was like holding my breath with the music, and then I was like, Jesus Christ.
If I had not read that was going to happen, I probably would have filled my trousers with poo. it
Such
really
a
got
good,
me.
Such a good jump scare.
Three, two, hang on.
Ugh.
I got a mustache tickle. I didn't like it. One. Welcome back to the big room. We watched Jaws. I've been wanting to watch Jaws forever, but
Yeah.
I've been scared because it's scary.
It is scary.
But first, I want to plug our Discord. So we have a Discord. You should join it. Why should you join it? Because we just added a new channel
Ooh.
where we play the New York Times like mini games every day, and a bunch of us are posting our like times for the mini and our connection scores. They got
Wordle.
me playing Wordle for the first time in 3 years. I quit after 100 consecutive days with no losses,
Oof.
and
That'll do it to you.
but that was pre-New York Times, so my streak has reset. So I feel comfortable playing Wordle again. It just
right.
took me 3 years almost to realize that.
Here's what keeps me going. I have the same word every day. And I'm waiting for the day where my word
it's
is the word of the day,
Is-
and I get it in one.
Is it a do?
Are you going to quit after that?
Shh. Yes.
It's a do because it's every vowel, but oh yeah.
I don't know why that has to be a secret. I guess it doesn't.
It's your strategy. secret
I
strategy.
got murdered on today's. I almost lost it because it was a QU word, and those piss me off.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
So anyway, I digress.
I start with dream every time, which is probably not the best word, but
I feel like that's a good one.
It's a good bit.
you get your DR combo, you EA, kind of get some clues from that.
Yeah.
EA Sports.
Pig.
Jaws. Okay, enough about Discord. I want to talk about Jaws. So
Every time we say Jaws, I just want to go hum, 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 hum.
why?
I want to go
Jaws.
Jaws.
like
Jaws.
Like my
the
jaw.
shack in the water.
Interesting title for the film. I think it's really cool. Now, what gives me pause about the movie title is
Gives you pause about Jaws.
what gives me pause about Jaws is how long I would have to sit in a room trying to come up with names for a shark film before Jaws came out of my mouth. And I think the answer is forever.
I mean,
Yeah.
Really?
we're really good at naming things, is what we learned when we named this podcast.
It took us 3 hours to name this podcast. And we worked in a room called The Big Room for half a decade. And
Let's do that.
Names are hard.
So we
Oh,
would have
no.
named it Shark.
yeah.
Shark.
Teeth.
Teeth.
Attack off
Teeth.
Emily Island
Teeth.
or whatever it's called.
Amity.
Teeth is another movie that you should look up
I don't.
just later.
Your vagueness makes
Hang.
me never want to do that. Is it like Tusk? Because ugh.
I don't know what that is.
Like a body horror movie.
Yeah, it's gross. 1975. This movie came out on June 20th, and it is regarded
Almost 50
as the
years ago.
Yeah, no kidding. It is regarded
crazy.
as the first ever summer blockbuster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jaws started
That's
it.
crazy.
I had learned why it's called Blockbuster
Why is it
Tell
called
us.
blockbuster?
because they were lined up around the block and busted the block.
I
Oh.
hate that.
It was
Why?
the first movie that I guess took over a block.
I don't like it.
Wow. I never knew that.
Probably not the first. Just the first to be
No,
like,
this-
we should name it. Like someone saw it and was like,
But
this.
where's the bust come from?
They're busting at the seams of the block.
All right, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
It's way better than what I was gonna say.
So, more quick facts. It was the highest grossing film of all time until Star Wars came out 2 years later, 1977.
Classic George Lucas.
It was Spielberg's breakthrough film. Is that not
is
He was
insane.
gangster?
26.
He's
Really?
26,
That's so young.
and he comes firing out the gate with Jaws, regarded as one of the 100 greatest movies of all time.
It's nuts.
Insane. And
I
then
think
he,
it's
Especially when you
first.
find out all the technical problems they had, that he
Yeah.
was able to make anything happen is insane.
yeah, all the robot sharks, like the animatronic sharks, were prone to malfunction. So instead
The
of like
autoerotic sharks.
fixing the autoerotic sharks, instead of fixing them all the time, he just opted, because he was a genius who later made E.T. a terrible movie. I don't like E.T.
Other people say it's good.
Other people don't have a podcast.
You're right. I also don't like E.T. So.
He opted to just suggest the shark's presence. which is smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And works largely due to John Williams' score. You know,
Yes.
the donut.
God.
That's so ominous. But I almost think that there were scenes where it was even more tense because they removed the score completely.
Absolutely.
And it was just silence.
Yeah.
Like before the fake shark attack with the kids that have like the fin on their
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
They let us sit for like 2 minutes with just beach sounds and like
Oh my God.
horrible silence.
Just
and I was
knowing.
Like, and then it was a false flag, which is brilliant. I had a blast watching this movie. It was
I was going to
freaking
ask
great.
because I know you don't love
I don't.
tension, and there's a lot,
There's a
of,
lot of
tension here.
tension.
So what I did was read the plot before I watched the movie
yeah.
because I knew I would not be.
He told me that like 25 minutes into the movie. He
I
kept
t-
making comments, and I was like, "Did you?" He's
I
like,
told
read the
you
whole
that
plot."
before the dead guy jump scare that we'll get
Cool.
to in
Yeah.
a minute.
Oh my God, that got me so good.
That would have made me pee my little diaper. Because I would have hated that. The film was largely filmed on location in Martha's Vineyard. Amity Island is fake. It's not a real place. And it was the first film to be shot on open ocean.
Oh,
Really?
So that also
That's kind of crazy.
that also presented difficulty as well.
That is such an
'cause-
ambitious movie for a first-time director. That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Well, the budget I believe was kind of small. So it's like
7 mil.
7 mil. So do you have I guess it is ambitious, but also probably cheaper as a thought than making a set, like a big water set like they had for Pirates, for example. Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
a lot of the boat scenes were filmed on a big water set.
And when I was reading about it too, he said it just wouldn't read the same if you're in like a big tank. Like it's just
Think
not going to
about-
have the same effect.
Think about the beginning of Shutter Island when they're on that boat and they have that like
Yeah,
tracking
it's
shot
insane.
going up to the island and the water in the background just looks awful. You don't have that with Jaws.
Yeah.
Listen, Carl made a face, but
I just
didn't
I was
say
like, any
anything
chance he can
disparaging.
get to
It was the first
jumps at
crappy
the
water
opportunity
scene
to
that
shit
came
on
to
Scorsese.
mind. I don't. I did. It's just, that water looked
I know.
bad. It looked bad.
That was ice water in that ocean.
Get you an ice water with no ice. You asked for a couple of ice cubes, and I only gave you one. Nick doesn't get it.
Nope.
He's never seen SpongeBob. What else do I have here? That's it. That's all my fun facts
That's
for
all
the
your
intro.
fun facts.
So, man,
A lot of nudity for PG.
yeah,
Dude,
And like, I mean, blood and appendages.
hang on.
Just that scene with the
Death.
hand and the crabs crawling all over. I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
I want to talk about that scene, but Nick has a thing.
I just want to complain because I watched this on the Sci-Fi app,
Okay.
which is an app I have on my TV because I'm watching this stupid show called Resident Alien. It's great. Anyways, I saw it on there. I was like, all right, I'll just stream it here because it's free. But they freaking blurred all the boobs.
What? Interesting.
I don't remember.
What's the point of Jaws?
Without the boobs.
Wait.
I don't.
There's
Sorry.
at least at the very beginning, the first chick that dies when she takes off her top.
It's,
It was
yeah,
blurred.
I think it's just that.
It's like-
but
it's side
still.
boob.
Could
I
you
feel like it was dark.
It was so dark.
It was light enough for them to blur it.
Okay. We also like the projector at the theater.
Oh, yeah, you watched it.
I love it, but it's a little dim.
Yeah.
So I got robbed of breasts. Damn. So yeah, Danielle and I watched it in a
Wow.
theater, which was cool. Our local theater was playing Jaws, so we were like, yes. First of all, we went. Let's get
Regal
this movie.
or where?
Marion,
Marion Theater.
our local
Oh, okay.
theater that John Travolta
Gotcha.
remodeled for us.
Thanks,
Thanks,
John
John
Good for him.
Travolta.
He should do it again.
He remodeled it before Disney's Bolt came out.
Wow.
Yeah. So he should do it again. But I love that theater. They're also playing
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka soon, and I'm going to go because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So we saw it there. It was super cool to be able to see it in a theater. I was like, the downside was I obviously couldn't take notes while we were watching it. The upside was it was a freaking theater.
Yeah.
Weird thing about it, couple kids there.
Yeah.
One
Like
of them
small.
like younger than 6. And
Oh, wow.
Jaws is where you bring your kid. Bad parent. And I looked up, looked over.
I mean,
they
it's
were
PG.
That is way too scary for a 6-year-old.
But even the, yeah, what does a
6-year-olds
kid
should
get out
watch
of that
PG
movie?
movies. Well, so I think they threw him on the ground at one point because
They were up and down a couple times.
Because like the kid, I looked up during one of the scenes, the scene of Quint getting like munched, for example, and I couldn't see the kid in the seat, so I don't know if they're like, can you get on the gross
you
floor?
get on the floor.
So you don't see that. And there was like a 12.
See if you can find any candy.
Yeah, there was a 12 or 13-year-old in front of us. I was like, these parents are making decisions that I just
12
wouldn't
or
be making.
13.
That's fine.
I think that's maybe okay. It's
That one's
old.
passable, but
The effects are,
There were
old.
2 children
Yeah,
in that
that was
theater.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
we were like, should we call the police? Like, this is crazy.
Call Doug.
So the movie starts with a classic 70s like beach fire, pot smoking, groovy party. And a chick calls to some guy and goes, let's go swimming. And she's like intoxicated as hell. Not as intoxicated as he is. Because he's like,
He said he wasn't drunk.
wait a minute. And he's like stumbling all over the place.
I'm not
which-
drunk. I just can't walk and take my shirt off at the same time.
Yeah. And you know what the
I'm gonna
lesson,
pass out on the shoreline.
my takeaway
bad.
from the movie is the drunker you are, you can't get into the water to get eaten by sharks. So drinking keeps you safe.
Yeah.
Drinking saved his life.
Argue with that. Argue with that. So he stumbles and then just falls asleep on the beach, as one does when they're intoxicated. And she just swims out in the freaking dark.
She goes so far too.
She goes like to a
Yeah.
buoy
Like, come on.
and gets
Which
dragged down by an unknown thingy.
as she was swimming out that far, I was like, I feel like you're always told don't swim out that far, but are you told that because of this movie? Like,
Not in Florida.
you know,
Rip currents.
rip currents.
Rip currents.
But I was just like, is that a whole thing because of we're scared of Jaws? You know?
I know that Jaws did have a really negative impact on sharks. Like there were a lot of shark murders because of people were afraid of the movie, which is bad
Sad.
because sharks are awesome and very necessary to our ecosystem, our ocean's ecosystems.
Yeah.
So hey, don't
Do
kill
we
sharks.
have Shark Week without this movie?
No.
Would we have eventually been like, oh, sharks are cool, we should do something for them? Or I mean, I guess this movie also spawned like every creature feature movie.
Well,
So I don't know.
kinda. But I think it's a statistic that's probably real that cows kill more people every year than sharks do. So I just
They don't attack a lot of people, I don't think.
I don't think that
People
they do.
probably choke eating burgers.
Yeah. The hippopotamuses certainly kill. What?
Yeah.
I was wondering why you just yelled that.
I thought you were going with an angle of like McDonald's kills more people than
No,
sharks
because
they
the cow is
asphyxiate
the
on
burger in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
That was. Carry on.
I wonder if a shark has ever killed a cow.
What?
Do you think a cow's ever gone swimming and sharks have?
No.
Okay.
Cows don't swim.
A shark
It would
just
have to get so
they can
like
swim.
I just
cows.
don't think the shark could get shallow enough for the cow could get.
I just want to.
Can
Like,
a cow swim better than me is the question.
well,
The answer is
cows
probably
can
yes.
probably swim instinctually, and you can't.
Can cows swim?
They could do a little.
They're so heavy though.
If I saw a cow
not
at
like
the
a
ocean,
horse.
I would be like, what is
There's-
going on?
It's just you see a cow in the ocean and then it disappears, and a shark like swims up on shore, coughs up a cowbell, and bones out. It'd be great.
I want that movie.
So there were a couple moments for me where the movie got pretty real. Like I had reactions, not like or pearl clutching, but like, ooh, that was more poignant than I expected it to be. And the first one came really, really early, and it's when the first victim, whatever her name is, washes
Chrissy.
up on shore, dead or whatever, and we don't really see her a lot.
Her hand.
We see her hand, and it's like green and gross, and it's on some seaweed. But what got me was the deputy that like blows the whistle to get the chief over. His reaction was very like hand over mouth, 1,000-yard stare past the camera, not looking at the girl because she's
Yeah.
kind of behind a sand dune.
Yeah, you don't see her. You only see her arm.
And that I was like, oh, all right, that dude sold that this was horrible to me. And I that performance, that was the first one of 3 things in the movie that really kind of made me go, ooh. And I appreciated the film for that. Like little, you know, the suggestion of grotesque like horror.
Through the experience of others, like,
Yeah.
they're like, man, that's such a good movie.
It's like the opposite of show don't tell. It's don't show, tell. which is kind of the hallmark of this movie.
Yeah.
So the deputy finds her. He's gross. It's one of the more poignant moments in the film. And then some stuff happens. So a medical examiner examines the lady and concludes that she was attacked by a shark. Chief Brody, who's kind of our main character, I guess, one of our three main characters,
so.
Yeah.
and probably our primary protagonist, orders the beaches shut. Now, this is a problem because it's a beach, and this movie takes place right before July 4th. So there's this
In
beef,
a tourist town.
in a tourist town. So there's this
Yeah.
beef between Mayor
They
Vance,
need summer dollars.
Dude,
Vaughn.
That mayor sucks.
Mayor
so
Vaughn,
bad.
he just goes, the town's
Yep.
economy is reliant on July 4th tourism. So he's kind of like, what are the odds a shark attack is going to happen more than once? Open the beaches. So the Chief Brody, our boy, is kind of
boy.
like, all right. All right. And then more beach activity happens. It's another weekend or whatever. He's kind of researching shark books. He calls the oceanographer who comes later on in the film, Hooper. And there's another shark attack. So Mrs. Kittner's son is killed by a shark with a beach full of people in the daytime.
And
there's
their dog.
the dog,
And the
dog
dog.
dies too.
I'm so
which
glad that happened off screen.
is the worst.
I just couldn't handle
A
it.
dog yelp would have
Yeah,
just
no.
sent us all over the edge.
Couldn't do it. A kid, whatever. It's fine. Dog, no.
So, I forgot. The coroner actually convinces the mayor, or under pressure from the mayor, concludes that actually the medical examiner was wrong. It was a boating accident. She swam out and hit a
propeller.
a propeller on a fishing boat, and that was that. And Brody's kind of like, meh. He like half-ass accepts the conclusion. The beaches remain open. Miss Kittner's son is killed. She puts a bounty of $3,000 on the
shark.
shark's head.
Which in 75 is a lot of money.
A lot of money. There's a whole town meeting, which I was like, is this like
Is this
City
like
Hall?
City Hall?
Because you're in City Hall meetings
Kind
a
of.
lot. And on the back, I just got the heebie-jeebies thinking about it, but they're doing the meeting, and Quint does the nails on the chalkboard rake all the way down.
That was awful.
The worst, dude. And he
It
has
hurts me thinking about it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like
he
it.
offers
Let's move
his services as a shark hunter for 10 grand. And the quote I have that he said is, for that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. And they're like, nah. He's just kind of bones
Well,
out.
think about it.
Yeah. They don't take that. The oceanographer arrives, Matt Hooper. I have a note on Matt Hooper. He is played by Richard Dreyfuss.
Yep,
We know him from American Graffiti.
we do.
I can
have heard-
tell you who American Graffiti
I will
is.
tell Alex. We'll let Carl go in a second.
I've heard
Or
that
now.
there's a theory that it's the same character
Oh.
because the timing kind of lines up. He went to school out in the West, whatever, comes back, and so
2
there's
years
some.
later.
Okay.
I don't remember
for
who
Danielle's
he is.
sake. So
Yeah.
he was Kurt.
I don't-
His
who's that?
storyline.
The young guy.
His storyline. They're all young. You dumbass.
He's like the youngest one, though. He borrows
No,
the
he
car.
graduated.
He borrows the car from Opie, and he's the one that chases the girl in the white dress around. And
Okay, he's
he
white
goes
dress
to
girl.
Wolfman Jack, the radio station, to read the message to her. And
Okay.
he's the one at the end that actually flips and decides to go to college, and the movie kind of ends with his plane ride out.
Ah, okay.
That's Kurt. He's one of the ones who doesn't die in the end credits.
Insane movie.
He's one of the least bad.
yeah.
That movie.
That was a really
don't-
big disappointment.
Is that movie bad?
I was about to say, looking back on it, I'm starting to like it a little more, I think.
I don't think so. Have you seen Grease?
No. We got to
So,
add that to the list.
It's been on the list. It's just where do we fit it in at
Grease
some point?
doesn't exist without American Graffiti, but
but
Grease,
it's way better.
It's way better.
It's so much more fun.
Asterisk. It's fun and it's a musical.
I mean, it's very different. Carl, have you seen it? You've seen it.
Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah.
You
I
have
don't
to have
love
seen Grease.
musicals. Yeah,
Carl hates
I
music.
saw like a play of it one time with my family
My-
for some reason.
Ugh.
My parents love
It's one
Grease,
that people
so I kind of inherited a Grease love.
It's
And
groovy.
that movie rules. That's a good movie.
To tag on to the Richard Dreyfuss, George Lucas suggested him for this role to Spielberg because of
Nice.
his work on American Graffiti when he was looking for a guy.
Nice.
So thanks,
Does
George.
Quint remind anybody else of if you had like a Venn diagram of Jack Sparrow and Ron Swanson with like a tinge of Norm Macdonald, the way he
I
kinda
thought
plays
Norm
with people.
Macdonald.
Yeah, he's there's something about him that reminds me of someone, but it's so vague in my head
That's
that
funny.
I can't. It's none of those. Like I get where you're coming from 100%, but
Yeah.
there's someone in an old film or something, and I can't. I've been trying to think of it for like almost a week now.
The line when he was like, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. It reminded me of like something Jack Sparrow and Ron Swanson was. It was just kind of like this mesh. And I was like, oh, that's got to be who that is. It also kind of reminded me of, I know none of you have seen it, but Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
No,
Hunter S. Thompson is kind of like the character in that
Okay.
also Johnny Depp
Name.
plays. And he kind of sounds like that too. He kind
Gotcha.
of has like a similar cadence. But
he's kind of
yeah.
like the old school. He kind of reminds me too of what's the frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn guy.
That's
in,
literally what I'm looking up right
Red
now.
Butler?
Because
Yeah.
I'm like, is it the same
Something-
guy?
No, it's not.
No.
Are we sure?
Yes,
Okay.
But he's got that swarthy
because
charm.
that movie was like
'Cause-
40 years before this.
All right, fair. Okay. Well, I
That
was
was
just
Gone with the
looking.
Wind.
Gone
I
with the
was
Wind,
just
yeah.
looking that up because I was like, wait a minute, is that why we recognize him?
But there's kind of that
But no.
swashbuckly almost, but like man's man, and we don't have a lot of those.
I mean, he's more like a kooky, crazy old man than swashbuckler, in my opinion.
Where do you draw that line? I find
Like
that
I don't like he's crazy. He's like, I'm gonna kill that shark. I'm gonna smash this radio. We ain't calling for help.
How's that not?
That's crazy.
Kind of kooky.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
think he's kooky. He's weathered by the sun. I don't know. He's kind of like
swashbuckler.
othered to me. But swashbuckler to me is cooler. He's not cool to me. He's like the crazy
I thought
guy.
he had a swagger.
He's kind of he's a drunkard. He's drinking.
Yeah, drunkards are cool.
They all kind of did though.
We'll get to that
I don't
scene
know.
later.
He's not a hero to me. He's kind of the crazy.
Oh
old,
no, that's not what I said.
He's kind of the crazy old man out in
but
the
you like,
thing.
I don't
Oh.
think you can pick a modern actor and go, we have a guy that's like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will also forward that.
I feel like you can. I just can't think of one.
no,
right
you
now.
can't, and nor can you. We don't have a modern analog for Harrison Ford either. We just
It's
don't.
not just Harrison Ford.
Well, Harrison Ford's 12012. I mean, like
We
in
can
our
de-age
generation.
him.
Yeah.
We all we have are like little like Twinkie Tom Hollands and Timothy Chalamets, which are great, but like
Yeah.
And your Glenn Powell
Glenn
types,
Powell.
like
They're
the Chris
trying
Pratts.
with
to
his
The,
make
little
Glenn
eyes.
Powell happen. It's not happening. Stop trying to
I
make
don't know
it.
who that is.
I won't
it's
let
so
it happen.
funny that he's so divisive because I just saw another movie review about Twisters and it was like, I love him, he's so likable, and I was just like, it is polarizing.
Tiny
People
eyes
love
guy.
him or
he's
hate
got
him.
little beady eyes.
As
and
a
I
guy with
don't-
beady eyes, let's ease up
Capybara
on him.
looking hoe.
Carl does have small eyes. Sorry, Carl.
Yeah.
My eyes aren't level,
all
so you
right.
can make fun of those too. I got
My
It's
ears
not,
are level,
it's
yeah.
not just his eyes. It's his acting. His acting sucks. He's a
Got
cheeseball.
him.
He's not good. Boo.
You've seen him in what else other than what was the Sweeney one?
It was
Sydney.
Anyone But You. I've also seen him on. There was a TV show which was better. I feel like I've seen him in a couple other things, but I don't even remember what they are right now off the top of my head. 'Cause he's that
prove it.
he's
Prove
that
you-
forgettable. I don't even remember what movies I've seen.
All right, hey, he wasn't even born when Jaws came out. Let's get back to Jaws.
Back to Jaws.
Oh, blah blah blah. The Matt Hooper character. That's kind of how we got off on our tangent. So
Yeah.
the tiger sharks kind of get blamed for a minute. They go out on this hunt to kill the shark, basically, before to claim the $3,000 bounty and to solve the problem before July 4th. They close the beach for 24 hours. We're gonna close it for one day. That's all you get, Brody. And we're gonna find the shark. So 1 million fishing vessels go out. They come back with a tiger shark, which is my favorite shark. I like tiger sharks a lot. Do you have a favorite shark?
I don't have a favorite
Oh,
shark.
what?
Come back with the tiger shark, and at this point, Hooper's there, the oceanographer, and he's like, "That didn't kill the lady."
Yeah, he's with the measuring tape.
Because the mouth's too small. And he's like, what killed that lady is an abnormally large great white, which great whites are already abnormally large. They're huge. So I think they're second largest behind whale sharks. I don't have any shark facts. Who cares? Sharks are cool.
Yeah.
Watch Shark Week.
Watch Shark. Don't watch Shark Week, actually. It's anti-shark murder propaganda. Shark Week sucks. Shark Week is
Wasn't
bad.
that last week?
It was like 3 weeks ago.
I have a huge complaint about Shark Week, but we can get there later.
Yeah, we will get to our all my homies hate Shark Week segment at the end of the show. 95% chance we forget and we never do that. So I like that they cut it open.
Yeah.
Because they want to cut it open there, and then the whole photo op and whatever, and even Brody is kind of like, they got it, like, haha,
Yeah.
and everybody's thrilled. But Hooper's like, nah. So him and Brody go like Metal Gear Solid over to the shark corpse, and they cut it open, and they find license plates. Tiger sharks have totally been found with license plates in their stomach. That is not made up. And just fish parts. And Hooper's like, the digestive system of a shark is so slow that the human remains would still be in here. So this wasn't the shark. And they go off on Hooper's boat, and they find my notes. They find Ben Gardner's ship. So he's like a not ship,
Dude.
boat. This was the second moment that got me. They find this half-sunken vessel out in the water, and Brody's like, "Oh, that's Ben Gardner. He's a local fisherman." Blah blah blah. And Hooper's like, "I'm going in the water at night."
I think that's it's insane. You know there's a big giant shark out here. You're telling me you're going to go in the water?
I had that thought, but then I remembered he has all the sensors and cameras on his boat,
Yeah.
and he knows it's
Oh,
not
right.
But like,
close.
what will you discover in the water that you wouldn't discover after towing it back?
Well,
That's
he
what I
wanted.
don't get.
I think I think what we're supposed to glean from it, because he wants to examine the hull, which you can only do from the bottom. Obviously, 'cause
Yeah.
it's the hull. So I'm wondering if we're supposed to be thinking like, oh, the shark took the boat down, but like, the logical counter argument to that would be, has a shark ever sunk a boat ever? Like orcas do it because they're cool and they hate billionaires, but sharks. But so I don't know. But he goes down to check the hull to see what sunk it, and he does find the big shark tooth. So then we
he
as an
drops
audience,
it.
then we as an audience,
Butterfingers.
getting ahead of me. We as an audience go, oh, the shark took the boat down. This shark is mahoosively large.
Yeah.
And then the face.
Ugh, it's creepy.
And then the face.
The face peers
I
out.
can't imagine that in theaters
And we
because it scared
all-
the piss out of me. In my
I
house.
knew it was coming because I read.
Yeah. I was like holding my breath with the music, and then I was like, Jesus Christ.
I guess. Oh, do you want to go ahead?
Well, I was just gonna say, if I had not read that was gonna happen, I probably would have filled my trousers with poo. it
Such
really
a
got
good,
me.
Such a good jump scare. Like,
It really was.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just reading some facts about this movie, and I guess Spielberg saw the like audience reaction to some of the jump scares and wanted to add like one more, and this was the one he like added. And he was like, he also, but then like after screenings, like after he added this scene, like then the jump scares later on weren't as effective because this one kind of set everybody on edge.
Yeah, because
Little bit.
I'll bring up
This is the
another
only
early.
one I remember.
Yeah.
I'll bring another
Yeah.
one up in a minute.
Yeah, I don't think
There's one more, but it's
Huh.
not as So
Yeah.
I get
This
exactly where
one
you're
was
coming from.
a big
This
moment.
is the one that's the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
gut punch. So he drops the tooth in the flashlight. Gone forever.
Classic.
That flashlight also
That's so Brody.
sucks.
Or
That's so
Hooper.
That's so Hooper.
So
So
oops.
Hooper, classic Hoop. Oopsie, did it again.
Oopsie daisy.
Oopsie doopsie.
We got jokes. Then it's July 4th, literally. That all happens, and they come back to the mayor and go, Great White. And he goes, July 4th, baby.
Yeah.
We're on. He goes to the news and is like, we got the shark. The beaches are safe. He convinces that one citizen that he knows to he's like, no one's going in the water. You go.
Yeah.
And he brings his little family.
Also, just be happy that they're there. Don't
Right.
make them go in the water.
If they're happy chilling on the beach, just let
Yeah.
them chill.
They're
Yeah.
on the beach. They don't need to go in the ocean.
You don't
just want
make
them on the beach.
Yeah, you
They're
don't-
on the beach.
the water isn't a transaction for you to
Yeah.
make more money.
They're still going to
there,
eat food.
Did you monetize it? Like, what are we doing?
which is illegal because no one can own water in this country. It's true. Doesn't stop people from trying, but it's true. What drives me nuts about the old guy that goes in the water, gets convinced by the mayor, is did you have to bring the small children with you?
Yeah, that's weird.
He's like, all right,
Volunteered his whole
entire family,
Yeah.
let's go.
Let's go.
I'm going down. You're going down with me.
And this is the scene. So everybody gets in the water, and this is the scene we alluded to earlier where the music cuts, and we just get splishy splashes and the sound, beach sounds, and it's very weird. It's one of those moments in films where you are acutely aware that there's no music. There's times in films where there's no music for dialogue's sake or whatever.
Yeah.
In every movie, but I don't know what the difference is. But it's just it was so painfully
Yeah, this time it was done
obvious
for effect. Yeah.
that it was done for effect, and it was gripping because you're like, the shark's gonna come back, and then we
Yeah.
get the false flag of it's the two whippersnappers
Yeah.
that end up with M1
Whippersnappers.
Garands in their face because they've got
They
a
almost
shark
died.
fin on their backs, and Brody's son got a boat for his birthday or whatever, or Christmas, who cares? And
good
they
gift.
want to put it out in the ocean, and Brody's like, nah, the pond, which is a lagoon that's like kind of, if we're looking at the beach, it's back right. Like there's a bridge and whatever. There's a little inlet and there's a lagoon. He's like, go in the lagoon. Probably not a shark in there. There you can put your boat. So
If that was my child, they would not be going in the water at all.
I-
Period.
yeah.
Nope. I don't care if you got a boat.
So
You
of
gonna wait.
course, because it's a movie, a character has identified the lagoon as a safe place. So guess what?
Yep.
That's where the shark ends up.
Yep.
So
Naturally.
Shark's in the lagoon. Kills a fisherman. Eats him. Almost gets Brody's kid. Like, almost. Brody's kid goes into shock. The mom's
So I guess it's a
hysterical.
real thing.
Yeah.
The mom kind of goes into shock too.
That was quite a shock episode.
The younger brother, too, is just on the beach, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, in the 70s, people just did not give a shit about where their kids were.
Dude, I was thinking that. It was like, who leaves this child right beside this giant body of water just playing in sand?
So dumb.
It was the 70s.
So far back, and we
It was a different time.
yeah, we drank from the hose and dumb.
that hose water was crisp.
Yeah, it's also full of lead.
Oh no.
So yeah, we had the Scooby Doo like fake shark kids. We had the boater that dies, nearly kills Brody's son, and then Brody forces the mayor in the hospital to hire Quint at the $10,000 cost to the cost of the city to hunt the shark down.
You got a pin?
Yeah,
Because you're going
Do
to
what you
hire.
do best.
Yeah.
He like throws the curtain in the little like hospital like fake rooms and makes him sign it.
And then the mayor has this weird thing where he's like super emotional. My kids were out there too. I wasn't having it.
Boo.
Screw that guy. This is all your fault.
I was kind of expecting Brody to like pop the mayor in the mouth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, your kids weren't almost eaten, mother. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oof.
He gets a bad rap. Like, there's nothing that he could do that would have been well received by the townspeople. Like, if he
could've-
shut down the beach all summer, they'd been pissed that they're
true.
losing money.
Yeah.
So it's like he's kind of
It's lose-lose.
There's no
but
winning,
You
yeah.
set yourself up to be a villain when you are acting in the interest of the economy and not the citizens, though.
yeah.
But yes, you are.
I'm just saying, there's nothing he could do.
You
like,
are
he's
totally
yeah, he's-
correct.
Yeah.
It just sucks that he was Doug Dimmadome about it. But also, we don't have a movie if they close the beach.
That's true.
So,
right.
Fair.
so then we get Quint again, and he's boiling shark jaws, and his whole cabin is full of shark stuff, and it's super cool. He's singing sea shanties on the boat, and there's already like arguments when he's getting on. Like
Yeah.
Hooper goes with him. It's Quint, Hooper, and Brody are the three that end up on the ship, which kind of puzzled me a bit because Quint like had a guy with him at the town hall meeting, and he had guys helping him load up the ship,
Right. I thought they were going to go.
and they didn't go. It was just the three of them.
Maybe they're just like dock workers and they help everybody.
Maybe.
In my head, like remembering this movie, like 80% of the movie happens on the boat, and then watching it again, I was like, no.
Okay.
We've been like most of the way through, and we're
like 30
still not on
minutes.
the boat
I
yet.
kind of buried
Yeah.
that lead. So you had seen this before,
Yes.
and Carl had seen this before. Nick and I had not.
Nope.
Nick watched it today. and Carl, you watched it earlier this year or last year.
I watched it last year because, I just hadn't seen it. I was like, oh, I'll just go ahead and do it.
When did you watch it? Years ago, yeah?
Yeah, it was another one of those that my parents, like, at one point were like, you're ready for this. Let's watch this movie. Because this was like, I feel like all of our parents, like, traumatic movie. They were all scared of the water. Like, my mom was like, I was scared of the bathtub after I watched Jaws.
Oh, my God.
So, you
think
know,
my
they
mom's-
wanted to share that with me for whatever reason.
I think the
You
movie
be
that
scared. Have this irrational fear with us.
Yeah.
Come on.
I already had enough irrational fears.
jacked my mom up, I think, was The Exorcist,
Ooh.
That'll do it.
not Jaws. I am not watching that.
My mom
Nope.
did that with me, but it was with The Passion of the Christ.
Ah!
Terrifying.
My mom
Not
took
for
me-
children.
My mom took me to see that when I was like 11 or 12.
Oh my gosh.
Which is bad parenting. Also, that movie is not good. It's not a good movie. Stop watching that movie. Mel Gibson's a bad person.
Terrible person, even.
Well, that was a question I wanted to ask you guys.
Also, one of the actor that played Jesus up on the cross got
Yeah.
struck by lightning. Here's
Oh.
your sign.
Here's your
Wow.
sign.
Don't make that movie.
Like while they were filming it?
Yes.
That's,
He's
That's
up there.
insane.
Lightning.
dude.
Here's
Wow.
your sign.
Everything. Stop everything. Stop making the movie.
Yeah.
That's
Was he
funny.
hurt? Did he die? I'm
I
assuming not.
wish.
That
Because then we wouldn't have
that would have made it
watched that
really
movie.
realistic, though. Dead on a cross.
He raises.
Oh,
he
man.
raises. Never mind.
Anyways,
All dogs go to heaven. I want to as well. Let's stop talking about past.
no,
You were trying to make a point.
I just since I brought up the fact that this was like a traumatic movie for like our parents' generation, I wanted to ask you guys what your like trauma movie was.
Goonies.
So we've already covered some of that.
Goonies.
Goonies.
I never finished Goonies because of the scene where
Okay.
here's what I remember about it. They're in a cave, there's children, there's a creepy old lady and some kind of big man, and they grab one of the kids, pinch him by the cheeks, and threaten to cut his tongue out. That was enough. I never watched the rest of the Goonies. It scared me and I didn't like it.
Passion
fair.
of the Christ.
Yeah, I'll also echo. Did you say Exorcist? I never.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. But I got. I was playing. Do you remember the maze game with the Exorcist? It was this.
yes,
It was this
yes.
game where you would have to like drag the cursor through a maze without hitting the walls.
And it was like a creepy
And it was
jump scare.
actually impossible to do. So when you got to a certain spot, the Exorcist face would pop up. That scarred me. Like
Yeah.
I lost sleep over that.
Yeah,
I was
same.
like 10 or 11.
I remember that too. Just, exploring the internet
Yeah.
and getting horrified by stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What about Carl?
Do you have a
I'm
movie
trying
that
to think
rocked
of
you?
one. Not that I can think. I've been very careful not to watch anything scary for 30-something years. So
I remember
I'm trying to,
I remember Sarah Olson's was Watership Down because they have that
Oh,
scene where
yeah.
the rabbits like fight each other and that jacked
That
her
is a
up.
pretty gruesome scene. My brother, my youngest brother, was very scared of the Cat in the Hat, Michael Myers.
Oh, the Mike Myers one.
Yeah, because
don't
it's
remember
very
that.
uncanny valley. It is.
You
it
pay
is
this
horrifying.
woman to sit on babies?
I never saw that.
Yeah, that was. Ugh.
There's no way that movie's good.
I'm sure one will come into my head though. I'll think. I'll keep thinking.
Did you say yours?
No, I haven't said mine yet. Mine was Twister.
We've talked about
We've talked about this before, but then my second one, which I watched a little bit later, like Twister was the one like my parents had it on and didn't realize I was paying attention. So that wasn't on purpose.
Dang.
But then we on purpose watched this other movie called They. And it's about these monsters that live in the dark and they mark you when you're a child if you have like nightmares and then they come eat you as an adult.
Oh, wow.
I still will run through the house when it's dark because if you're in the light, they can't get you.
Oh, right.
I don't like the dark either. to
That
be
makes
fair.
sense.
So I'll we have like our automatic lights that go off, and if they go off, and I'm like, well, I don't want to have to tell Google to turn them on, so then I just run through the house really quickly.
Hates talking to Google. I don't get it.
So I've never it wasn't a good movie. Like I've never heard anybody else talk about it, but it scarred me.
What's the one with the oh crap. There's no way to describe this. It's like a culty colony that's like you go through the movie thinking it's like in the 17 or 1800s or whatever.
The
but it's
Village.
The Village, yeah. Because they got that like monster
Yes,
thing.
that's creepy too. Yes.
I've
Remember
never heard
Daniel
of that,
showed us
but
that
it
in youth
sounds
group.
awesome.
Well, they played a clip of it in youth group, and I
To
remember.
make a point. And I was like, what are we doing?
Well, me and my friend then went to go watch it, and my dad was like, "Shut this off right now! Like,
Dang.
don't watch this. You're gonna be scared."
Yeah. Gross.
And he was probably right.
Where were we in Jaws?
We were
were getting on the boat.
embarking
Getting on
on
the
the boat.
boat.
Okay.
This is the part of my notes
Getting on the orca.
where I tried to make a prediction as to what I thought was going to
Ooh.
happen and just couldn't do it.
I haven't done that in a long time.
I couldn't do it. I didn't know how they were possibly going to kill the shark.
Oh,
I thought
see.
maybe the only thing I wrote down was they're going to sacrifice themselves in some way to kill it. Like they have to die to make sure that it dies, kind of thing. That was my best guess.
As a Mythbusters fan, I totally knew how the movie ended. Even before reading the plot, like I knew, and just from Shark Weeks and stuff. I used to be big into that when I was a teenager. So that's interesting. You were nearly completely blind.
Yeah.
What was that
Which-
like?
Did you think there was going to be a twist?
No, it was excellent.
Quint was the shark the whole time. Let's see who's really under there.
That would have been good.
Ah, you got me. I wanted my 10,000.
Would have gotten away with it too. Oh,
I went
man.
for you meddling oceanographers.
So I want to talk about the greatest line in the movie. So there's two really good lines, and they're both by Brody. So at the beginning, we kind of get some just like shopkeeping with they're laying the chum lines, trying to draw the shark in. Brody is, and he's gagging and stuff. At one point, he's laying the chum line. He's bitching and moaning about having to throw and smell the chum, which I'm sure is gross.
But it's delicious.
And that's where we get the jump scare that's kind of mitigated because of the previous one, where we see the head of the shark for the first time in the movie. Quinn sees it. It comes up for the chum and then goes right back down. And Quinn staggers back with like puffs of smoke off his cigarette to the cadence of his like quickened breathing. And he staggers backward into Quint's like where Quint is in the ship and goes, "You're going to need a bigger boat." That's a good line.
I thought it was we're going to need a bigger boat.
Nope.
My whole life.
You're going to need a bigger boat. I
You're-
think that's a Mandela effect to a degree.
Yeah, probably.
Same as like Luke, I am your father.
Play it
which is
again,
not-
Sam thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read somewhere that line was ad-libbed and couldn't corroborate that.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I couldn't see two places that could agree on that. So maybe it is, maybe it wasn't. Nonetheless, insane. It's like the line. It's that one and "Smile, you son of a."
Yep.
Like those are the two lines from the movie, and they're both by Quinn, or by Brody rather, which is awesome. So a lot of the second half of the film is chasing a shark around.
Sharkaboogans.
It's harpooning flotation barrels to the shark. The shark's real strong and drags them under, and whatnot. We have really only three. In the midst of all that, we have, to my remembrance, three kind of big moments. And the first is that first night. They're below deck. All three of them are drunk. And Hooper and Quint are comparing scars and scar stories. There's some lighthearted ones or whatever. Hooper does the right here, my broken heart, which dumb.
And then laughs for 10 minutes.
God, his laugh is so bad.
Drunk. Everything's funny when you're drunk or enraging. And Quint, I think Brody points to it. Whatever. He's got
he's
a
like, "What's that on your
scar
arm?"
on his arm, and it's a removed tattoo. And he talks about surviving the torpedoing of the USS Indianapolis, which is something that I knew about.
Nice.
So I'm going, the war, and I'm like, just because
So is that a real story?
100%.
And they all got eaten by sharks?
No. So here's what
100%.
I kind of went over it again. So the USS Indianapolis was hit by two torpedoes from the Japanese submarine I-58 on July 30th, 1945. There were over 1,000 people, something like 1,030 or so people on the ship. 890 initially survived the sinking. There were like 300 that were rescued. So over 500 people died. Many of them drowned. There were shark attacks, though. So initially they picked off wounded people because there was blood in the water, and then it is said that they went after survivors. But like the numbers cannot be confirmed. It could have been a couple dozen. It could have been hundreds. What we know is that they had no food or water, so men probably died of exposure. Men certainly died of drowning, and some certainly were eaten by sharks. But that is a completely real event that happened. And we found the wreckage in 2009. And they were given a posthumous, all shipwrecks. The reason it's illegal to take anything from them is all shipwrecks are regarded as burial grounds in the water.
Oh,
So you're not allowed to like collect stuff from them. Like governments have done it, like, because that's the jurisdiction. So they will go, there's a couple like bells from the Titanic and whatnot. but they're regarded as graveyards, so you're not allowed to mess with them. So basically, we find them and we go cool, and then we don't tell anyone where they are.
Yeah.
Like exactly because and then people have figured it out, but there's a reverence around ship graveyards. So now, I loved that part of the movie. I really
that
did.
monologue,
Anything you can tie to the war, and that monologue to me, I hesitate to make this comparison because I haven't read the book yet. It is on the top of my list as far as books that I need to start that I'm not in the middle of. My list is like I have a pile next to my reading chair. It's like 6 high because I never read. Moby Dick. So that story to me kind of sets what is his name? Quint. I just had a stroke. Sets Quint up as like the Captain Ahab to the Moby Dick of the general shark population. Like the dude just hates sharks because he watched them pick off the sailors around him. Like he tells a story of he goes to like wake up one of his boys in the water and he was just a bobbing corpse with half of him missing.
He played baseball.
Yeah. And crazy. Did that do it for y'all, or is it just me as a war nerd?
No, that was... Here was my beef with the scene.
Oh,
That was the point of the movie where I realized I didn't have subtitles on. Because I could not understand a word he was saying.
It was a bit hard to
He
understand.
mumbles.
He was
we were-
under his breath, mumbled, and
He was also drunk IRL.
We were
in real life.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it.
Method acting.
So yeah, I put on subtitles after that, and then got the story, and it was great.
Gotcha. What about you?
For me, it was when he went and bashed that
Radio,
responder thing. Was when he was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, we're dealing with this." I was like, "Okay, this guy's a little unhinged for shark."
Yeah.
like,
Because
killing. Like,
there's
Like your
hints.
boat's almost gonna sink at that point.
Yeah.
So why would we
And
break
when-
our communication device?
And then later, he like actually blows up whatever's under the boat whenever he's just flooring it.
Yeah, so after the story, the shark rams the boat, it starts sinking. Water gets into the engine room, kills the power. So they spend all night fixing the engine. When you get water in engines, there's no fully fixing it. Like when you're on you can't take the thing apart. So
Yeah.
it's a crippled engine at that point. The next morning, Brody tries to call the Coast Guard, and Quint smashes the radio with a baseball bat. In a kind of, I guess
You're
we're supposed to-
certifiable.
yeah, like he's in like a shark obsessed rage. Like it's like Captain Ahab going after the white whale.
well, they're so close.
He's like, I
Yeah.
have to get you. Do you know nothing about Moby Dick? Like not even
Not really.
anecdotally. What did they have you read in West Virginia public school?
I read The Great
Mothman books.
Gatsby.
Mothman books. I didn't read The Great Gatsby.
What
Interesting.
What's the? There's one.
didn't
There's
go to
one
public
book.
school.
I forget the name. It's like the book that everyone reads. And I remember the teacher passed it out. We all complained enough, and she was like, "All right, pass them back up," and she gave us another
Oh,
book.
Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
So I think I
So
read.
West Virginia.
I wonder what it was.
I think I read an abridged version. Oh God,
Bless you.
burping. An abridged, like child's.
Well, they had like a picture on like every page or every other page.
No, not that bad.
Like they were all hardcover.
They were all hardcover.
like I can
Gulliver's
picture.
Travels, Oliver
Yeah.
Twist.
I can picture the series because they had like a version of everything.
Yeah.
That's the only version of Pride and Prejudice I've ever been able to get through. I can't get through the real thing.
I got through, let me think,
too
Oliver's
boring.
Twist, Sleepy Hollow, Moby Dick, Gulliver's Travels,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the old novels. And now as an adult, I'm like, I got to read Moby Dick. And it's huge. And it
Yeah.
was written in 1840. And it's going to be really hard to get through. But
Good luck.
I'm going to try it out. So basically, after that, we get more harpooning the shark with barrels. They tie it to the stern cleats. The shark is like, I'm strong, and pulls the boat backwards against the motor and floods the engine again, which sucks. And then at that point is where Quint yields to Brody's earlier request to lure the shark back towards shore. So they're like, why are we letting this thing that is clearly hunting us
Which,
at this point drag
smart.
us out? And Quint yields, but he's an idiot, to your earlier point, and pushes it full throttle, back to shore, blows the engine up. Blows the motor, and then they're just stuck. Like, I guess they could see shore at that point. Like, they show us, like, hey, they can see it, but they're still a ways off. And now they're dead in the water, and the boat's sinking because the shark has pulled, like, the keel underneath, and water has come over. So they kind of go to drastic measures at that point, and Hooper kind of takes over. He tries to take over multiple times because he's an oceanographer. He's an expert-ish, but he's an expert in like, science stuff. And Quint is an expert at like murder, like animal hunting. So, and also it's his boat. So you kind of have to
He's the
yield to
captain.
the man.
Well, we get the shark cage thing.
That's exactly at this point.
Yeah.
So the drastic measure is like, all right, we've got to kill the shark. The harpoon ain't working. I'm going to get in my shark-proof cage, and I'm going to tip a spear with strychnine. I have no idea what that is. It's apparently real.
Poison that doesn't come off underwater.
And so he's got it on a needle or whatever that he like tips a spear with.
Yeah.
And Quint asks like, "You're not going to be able to pierce the shark's skin with that, are you?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to have to get it in the mouth." So he's basically going in the cage under the pretense of the shark's going to try to bite me and I'm going to stab it.
Yeah.
And Hooper does Hooper stuff.
Once
and
again.
drops it.
Once again,
Ugh, classic Hoover.
Shark also
Classic.
You had one job.
destroys that cage. Were
Got
you
city
stressed?
hands. Too busy counting money.
Because I read the plot, so I knew he lived.
And I think I had asked you earlier in the movie, like, does he live? And you were like, yeah. So then that kind of took some of the pressure off. I wasn't as stressed for this as I was for Jurassic Park.
That's wild.
yeah, that is.
I don't know why.
That's
I
wild.
don't know why. Maybe.
Is it because
I don't think
Jurassic
so.
Park is frustrating because of the series of mistakes?
I think so.
Gotcha.
This is just a battle against nature.
And that's more of like
Yeah.
a compounding of errors.
Yeah. So the errors that's a good way. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
So there's frustration that brings anxiety of like, you're an idiot. What is going on?
Yeah. Why did you do that?
Which I mean, he does drop the spear.
Yeah.
Hooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he gets out of the
What
cage.
after what stressed me out about him being in the cage is for a second he had the spear and he was stabbing from the
Yeah.
outside and all you saw was blood. I was like, is he gonna eat him? Is he stabbing the shark and the shark's bleeding? Couldn't tell.
I think he was stabbing the shark, but like I assume at least that the needle like breaks off and he's still got a
it's
spear
just
though,
last ditch effort.
And it's like the shark comes once and like hits the cage and mangles it a little bit, and then Hooper at this point has the spear like ready, but the shark hits him from behind, and that's when he drops it. I think. My
Yeah.
memory's
That I was a little
hazy.
stressed for because I was like,
Maybe.
he's coming from behind. When's it gonna happen?
And it
When's
totally
gonna
happens. And it's
happen?
another one of those jump scary moments that again is kind of like
yeah.
the volume's turned down because of the big scary one we had with the dead dude's face. But Hooper bones out of the shark cage and like hides in like a reef or some kind of deal on the seafloor. And the shark is like, cool, I'm back to boat time.
Boat murder.
And this is where Quint
Rip.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention and didn't write down. Quint, when he's talking about the Indianapolis, says as one of his points, like, that's why I will not wear life jackets ever again. So at one point the ship starts sinking and he hands Hooper and Brody life jackets and he doesn't have one. And it's like, oh, he's going down. Like he's assigned himself to going down, which is
Yeah.
Crew
not
captain.
how he croaks.
Yeah.
The shark does a big leap on the boat.
Big jump.
And this is my third of 3 visceral moments. And it's when Quinn gets maunched. But it is not the moment that I thought it would be. So obviously he kind of slides into the mouth.
Directly, yeah.
It's like a ramp kind of deal. And he starts getting munched. And I'm like, all right, he's dying. Or what? He's going to get eaten. What got me, though, is, and again, not like pearl clutching, I'm gonna pass out, or like I'm gonna have nightmares about this.
Got
But
the vapors.
what hammered it home for me was they panned him at one point and he's got blood in his mouth.
Yeah.
And that's the point where I was like, oh shit.
And at one point, you see it like projectile.
Yeah. And it's the little touches like that.
What got me was the split, like the last second and a half that he was visible, he was just lifeless.
Yep.
Just flopping around.
Yeah. And Brody's
brutal.
just like raw dogging it, like, like
Yeah.
crazy. Because to his knowledge, they pull the cage up. Hooper ain't in it.
It's just him.
And
yeah.
then Quint's gone. And he like runs back into the like, I don't know boat anatomy, but like the interior, but not underneath. Where he said, though, you're going to need a bigger boat line.
Yeah.
And he sees the oxygen tanks. We're not going to hammer on the oxygen tank discourse because they bring them up multiple times in the film about how explosive they are because it's compressed oxygen. Sidebar. Our dogs lost. We have 2 orange balls the dogs play with, and they lost one like a week and a half ago, and they're both here.
It just appeared.
They're both here.
Oh my gosh. It's
Good
a
job,
miracle.
Phoebe.
How did that get from our bedroom?
I don't know.
Okay. Paranormal
never
activity.
know.
So, we'll kind of wrap the movie talk up.
Yeah.
But I have some discussion questions, like a Bible
Ooh.
study.
Nice. God, that was my least favorite part.
He throws the oxygen tank in the shark's mouth, and we're like, cool. And it's the one thing that like hangs out in the shark's mouth for some reason. That kind of gave me pause. I'm like, why didn't the shark just
Yeah.
eat it?
Yeah.
Grabs the M1 Garand, climbs into what's left of the crow's nest, which at this point is almost completely horizontal, and does the smile, you son of a, and the shark explodes. And how was that for you?
That was amazing. Like, obviously, you saw it coming once you saw it in his mouth, but I totally forgot about the oxygen tanks.
Yeah.
I didn't
Very
even
African
like
queen.
even when they were talking about them, I never went, "Why are they there?"
Yeah.
And I still don't
Scuba
really
tank.
know why they were there.
Scuba gear for the
Oh, okay, yeah.
the tank the
Yeah,
cage.
yeah.
So, and then Quinn surfaces and him and Brody paddle back to shore after
And it just ends so abruptly.
which I like though, because
Just
I mean,
like
it
end
sets up the
credits.
next movie.
what you kind of made a comment about that, and I'm like, well, what do you want, the family reunion in the happy
Yeah, I
hour?
want him to go
would
hug
like
his
to have
wife and
yeah,
kids.
Yeah.
Why?
Because she was frantic and crying
was
about
sad.
it. Give
But
her
it's-
some
it's
like closure.
implied. It's implied.
Yeah.
I like the implication of it, and I don't want to be beat over the head. With
I don't have a
happily
real
ever after.
good suggestion, but it did just strike me as like, we're done. All right, we're out. Get
Yeah.
out. The ride's over.
Yeah.
Go to the next thing. It's like, okay.
I really
It just seemed
appreciate
really
that.
abrupt.
I appreciated it. But I get it.
I wonder
get
where
it.
the second one picks up.
So Spielberg's not involved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that he views sequels as carny and unnecessary. He didn't like them, so he refused to be involved with Jaws sequels.
Did he do Jurassic Park sequels?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, hey, whatever. It was like 20 years later.
Yeah.
But that's just what I read on Wikipedia when referencing an interview where he talked about not being involved. I think the writer
Okay.
was involved, and one of the writers
And I
actually was the camera guy, the guy trying to get the picture in the red shirt
Trying to.
of the dead tiger shark. On the
Oh,
pier.
nice.
Yeah, I think that was one.
There
of
was
the writers.
a news anchor that you see towards the beginning of the movie, and that was the guy who wrote the book. Was the author.
Oh.
Wow,
That's cool.
that's cool.
Little cameo.
No kidding. I think Quint, the actor that played Quint, didn't like the book, so he almost didn't take the part. And his wife convinced him to.
It's a cute moron.
And-
Nice.
He was like, "Thank God, because that was a good movie."
And I think he really like played that character well. Like it was a good fit.
100%.
So
Questions I have, unless anybody has any final thoughts.
questions.
Well, I've got questions
They're movie
too, but I
related
wanna-
questions. So, well, I'll do one. You do one.
All right, sure.
We'll take turns. So, I referenced or mentioned my 3 scenes that impacted me the most, being the deputy's reaction to the washed up girl at the very beginning, the face, obviously, in the wrecked boat, the jump scare, and then the blood in Quint's mouth as he croaks. What do any of you all have like a visceral moment of like, this was my moment for the movie, or?
I have a really deep appreciation for like a 10-minute sequence they did.
Which one?
And it's basically,
where's that?
it's like right after the death scene, we meet Brody's in his house and he goes downtown. Like there's not a second of like dead space. It's like the
There's
camera's
hubbub.
moving. It's like boom, 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 boom. He's getting lines getting fed to him. You know, like there's a lot of dialogue happening. It's like, and it's busy for like the whole time. And then he's like on that little raft with the car with the mayor and they're talking and it's like, it's just perfectly like moving along. And then then it lets you sit at the beach like you were talking about.
Yeah.
It kind of sits and settles. And like that high contrast was just like, oh, so chef's kiss.
It's like Brody has other things to tend to. Like it's 4th of July weekend. Like roads need to be blocked off and blah blah blah. And it is very hectic.
Yeah.
But his mind is on this one thing because there is. I couldn't concretely remember because it's just been 4 or 5 days since we've seen the movie, and I couldn't take notes during it. But it seemed like he had a fear of water for some reason.
Yes.
And
Yeah, when he gets on the boat, he's like, I'm not drunk enough to get on a boat.
No,
Right.
his wife mentions he does have a fear. I can't remember the reasoning
Okay.
why.
She's like, I don't
But
know what it's
that's-
called. And he's like, it's called drowning or something. And then
And
But there was another point.
I have a real fear of water so I really identified with Brody in that regard.
Did you guys notice when they were talking about their scars, Brody like lifts his shirt up as if to show a scar, and then he like reluctantly, he's like, no, never mind. Like he kind of stopped. And I
Yeah. I
wondered,
did
was
notice
that
that.
his tie-in to why he's scared of the ocean, or was that just the scar he's going to show?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
We'll never
I
know.
don't
You know,
know.
like that whole generation was in the war, so it could have been a similar. Like I just don't know.
I just wonder why he didn't, because we don't get any kind of clarity there. He just is like, yeah, I guess I'm not going to show. I'm just like, oh, okay.
All right.
And the other scene when it does like the deep pan on him.
Yeah.
And like the kind of. And they
That's
also, because
so
that was like
good.
the first time that had been done. And like I also noticed like when we're on the beach and it's kind of like him looking out, like we cut and it zooms into him and it cuts and zooms into him again. But they always use the transition of like somebody walking in front of the camera to
Right.
use like as a cut point. I was like, God, I've never seen that done. And like it's just like he's 26 making this movie.
Cinematography.
It's insane. I know. Like I was just like, man, this movie's so good. Like
Yeah.
just the filming of it, like to know how to do that young, and this is like your first movie out the gate, like it's crazy.
Nick, favorite scene or anything or no?
Favorite scene? I don't know. I don't know. I can name favorite, but the one that got the most reaction out of me for whatever reason was the little kid, the kid and the dog.
Yeah.
Just the realization too from that like crap.
Oh, like we have a shark problem,
Yeah.
not just an attack. We
Yeah.
have a problem. You have anything or a hated scene or visceral scene or something?
No, well, I mean, the scene that sticks with me the most is like the shark jumping on the boat and then them sliding like towards
Yeah.
it and like that panic. That's like the scene that stuck with me from the first time I watched it. And then also just we've talked about the scene on the beach, but just really like feeling Brody's sense of panic as he's scanning the water.
Yeah.
Because he knows there's a problem, but the mayor's let people back in the water, but he's like, something's gonna happen. So just his panic and his like attention that he's paying, like I really relate to
Yeah.
and gives me emotion because I'm that like I get that anxiety.
I do like Carl's point about the town and the franticness of it, but from a different angle, I appreciate the quaintness of how that town is sold. It like reminded me of like a busy coastal Mayberry in
Yeah.
a way. You know,
Yeah.
like
Because it's not like a small town, but it is busy, and everybody kind of knows each other, and there's like a system to everything.
But
and
their
I don't know.
problems are small town problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
the
when,
kids
even when,
vandalized my fence.
yeah, when
Yeah.
Brody's running around, it's small town issues he's having to deal with.
It reminded me of the Stranger Things intro, the first season, where she's like talking about something, and he has the disappearance of the kid, and he even echoes
Yeah.
that line, "I'm the chief of police. I can do whatever I want."
Huh.
In like
Yeah,
the
that's
latest season
interesting.
of Stranger Things, that's been used a couple times, but
Huh.
I love too like when Brody's trying to make the stuff for the sign, he like knocks everything over, and it's like even when he's trying to help, he's kind of being disruptive, even though he's trying to be good. It's like such a good like kind of visual gag there.
All right, you had questions.
Well,
Tell
I had a
us one.
question, but it's not. It's kind of like why didn't they just take Hooper's boat? He had a way better boat with way better gear, and I know it's because like Quint wouldn't have sailed with them, but did they need
Yeah.
Quint?
I will answer that. Quint's vessel had the rack for the flotation barrels. So that
yeah.
was the setup. It wasn't just that they were harpooning barrels, but they had that system for when the shark was harpooned, it would pull a barrel off and load the next one. And I
Okay.
feel like that must have been key for. And plus, you're going with the guy who has the expertise. So you hire
Yeah.
the man, you hire his ship, I think. So that's how I took
Yeah,
it.
it would have. Yeah, it wouldn't have been a movie, but I was just like, he has a way better ship, and he's got all the gear. He knows how to do everything. Like, I don't like. Did they even need Quint at this point? They could probably just like blow him up and like. But yeah, I don't know. I was like,
I think it was also for the juxtaposition of, you have the new age kid with all the toys, but then the old school guy who's been doing, like, he has the
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
And that's a cool, like, push and pull that we get in lots of media. I mean, you have that
Yeah.
with, and even in the Millennium Falcon with Luke, like, whatever, asking
great
the
kid, don't
questions.
get cocky.
And,
Yeah.
and Han going, stop touching there, you find yourself floating home. Like, I know what I'm doing. No, what a piece of junk. You know what I mean? Like that whole like tug is I enjoy that in cinema. I think that's a fun plot point.
The
Yeah.
boat is really small. The
Yeah,
orca,
I mean, there's 3 guys in it.
I know.
Yeah.
they're gonna need a smaller shark.
Also, orcas kill sharks. So that's called the orcas will kill.
Wow.
Dolphins too. Dolphins
I
will
like
team
it.
up and bully a shark.
Really?
They won't kill it. But
Poor shark.
they'll like come at it and hit it and stuff and like get it out of their
Aw.
territory.
Sad.
Nice teeth.
I
I can't stop swimming.
Ever heard of lungs? I have another question. Would you consider this a horror movie? Yes or no? It is. What I will say is on Wikipedia and such, it is categorized as a thriller. But I typed the question in. There are lots of Reddit threads, and there are lots of arguments for and against. So would you consider this a horror movie?
That's hard.
I think so,
for
but it
me-
also transcends genre a little bit. Like it's kind of action, it's kind of thriller, it's kind of summer blockbuster. It's kind of I don't know.
This isn't necessarily right. It's
Kind of
just what
drama.
I immediately think.
We're gonna have the
When
same
you
thought.
say horror, I think darker, maybe more like demonic stuff.
Yeah.
This is more suspense thriller for me.
I'm going to go with horror for one reason. And it's that in thrillers, I feel like there are often external factors that bring the thrill. There are time restraints or there's X is going to happen. We have a monster. You know what I mean? We're afraid of a thing. And that is what kind of gives it that horror edge to me. But biggest asterisk of all time. I hate horror movies and I refuse to watch one. But I kind of buy both. And I was reading the definitions of horror and thriller that I didn't write down because my notes were already way too long. And there is plenty of room for overlap. So like there's obviously suspense, but isn't there suspense in all horror movies?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
slasher
For sure.
flicks aside, like those are just gratuitous. But
There's still some suspense.
you know, like if
Yeah, I
you
think
look at The
suspense is kind of an
Exorcist-
element that you use in a horror film.
If you look at The Exorcist, for example, not that I've seen it, but again, you have a central kind of demon character that causes all the problems, and that's a horror movie. We have the same thing with Jaws. But again, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What about you? Horror, thriller, both, neither? Who cares?
I think I lean more towards Nick's side.
Just a thriller? Suspense?
Just a suspense thriller. Because,
Yeah.
like, it's scary. It's not like a horror film is more scary to me. This isn't like scary. Like, I'm not going to. It didn't affect my view of pools or the ocean, really.
You're getting ahead of me.
Oh, sorry.
So
Like, it's not dark. It's dark because there's death and, like, but it's not like a dark movie in the
There's
way
too much
that.
comedy to it too
Yeah.
to feel like a horror.
So the delineation
Well, there's
we're
that
kind of
in horror, though.
drawing is an overarching sense of dread
Yes.
that we don't have in Jaws because there's like daylight. And,
and you can just stay out of the water.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my final question that you jumped the shark. My phone rotated. Whoops.
We'll never know what
Stand
your
by.
final question
My
was.
final question is did the film have a negative influence on your opinion of sharks / the beach / the open water?
Yeah.
Does it make you wary of sharks?
For me, no, but I grew up in Florida in pools and water all the time, so it's
I'll say I have a very real fear of open water. I hate it. I hate boats. I
love
all of it.
boats.
I hate
love
it.
the water.
I was on a cruise just thinking about how I was not on a cruise the whole time. Just not. But it's not the sharks that do it for me. It's literally the water. So for me, I would be more afraid of the boat sinking than anything in the water. So also, I love sharks and conservationism and that whole deal. And I know that people are still 5 decades later fighting against the stigmas that Jaws has brought.
I just had a real quick funny thing to add on to mine. So my family, we went down to the Keys one year and we had a boat, right? We were snorkeling. We saw a shark in the water. The family we were with all got out of the water. My family all got into the water
To see the shark.
to look at the shark.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Because a lot of
But it was
Insane.
it was just a little guy.
a lot of
Hey, he's
shark
got a little leg.
just a little guy. He wasn't scary.
The thing with sharks are a lot of shark attacks are actually like, so sharks don't have hands. Fun fact.
what?
What?
Oh
What do
my
they swim
god.
with?
They don't have hands, so they can't
do they
do
swim?
this, and they can't grip things to see what they are. So a lot of shark bites
Just
are
nudge.
test bites. What is this?
Oh yeah.
Is this edible? Does this taste good? The theory is that people don't taste good, that sharks don't actually like how we taste, but they're doing test bites to go, what is this? What are you? And that's a lot of times, that's part of the reason why divers, for smaller sharks, we're talking tigers, etc., you can just redirect them. You just get their nose and boom, and the get rotated idiot meme and all that stuff. I for a long time wanted to do one of the chainmail dives where you go down with tiger sharks off the coast and they chum the water and you're in with chain, and sometimes they'll grab you and there's a guy with a stick that gets them off you and stuff. But I can't. My heart doesn't like the pressure difference.
My heart doesn't like a shark on my arm.
Well, I would do it. They just bruise you and you're groovy. I'm so small it might break my arm, but how cool would that be?
Yeah, how'd you break your arm? A shark?
I can't do the regulator. I can't even do the snorkel. Like the pressure difference of being underwater, I don't like it. I couldn't even scallop. So that dream is dead. But I love sharks, man. They're so cool.
I guess when I was younger, it's like whenever I was like 10, my parents were like, "Oh, he can't naturally swim. Guess we'll never teach him." And I was just never around water. So I've never liked being in the pool or anything. And then I grew up in West Virginia, so I was never around the beach.
Yeah, you just said poisoned
Moving
rivers.
here, I don't love the beach. It's just hot and gross and sand gets everywhere. So,
Not like you. You're everything smooth.
I was hoping someone would.
It's the second Star Wars reference I made for Nick today.
I got that one.
Which one? He is a she.
This
and
one
she is
just
a she. Oh no, you hit me with. You were talking about something, and I made a comment, and you were like, "Yeah, but he is a she," and I said, "And she is a changeling," and you didn't get it. Attack of the Clones.
Sorry.
Both Attack of the Clones references. Carl, do you think sharks are evil?
No, I love sharks. Oh man,
Did this do anything for you? This movie? Or
I mean,
nah?
I saw
You
this for
chilling?
the first time a year ago, so I was like way past the impressionable age. But like, had I seen this as a kid, it might have had a negative impact. But I'm also like kind of scared of the ocean. I got like really high one time. I was standing at the shore, and I was like, Jesus Christ! It's like I just remember thinking like, there's no way we know what all's in there. Like,
Yeah,
We don't.
that's crazy. Yeah,
You look
I know we
out-
don't. Yeah.
I like looking
But-
out on the ocean and going, Africa's out there somewhere.
That's true.
you can just
last
keep
time
going.
Last time I was at the beach, I was like on my phone going, "How far can I go straight before I run into something?"
Probably
It's
pretty
far.
far.
It's far.
It's
Yeah.
far.
It's pretty
I forget where it was, but it was far.
Do you have some?
What?
I feel like you had something to say.
No, well, I was just going to clarify with Nick, like, Jaws didn't affect his view of sharks or the water because he already didn't like the water.
Yeah, I already
Okay.
hated it. So
So,
So you already hated it. You and I are both beyond impressionable ages. I'm pro shark anyway. You, when you were a kid and you saw it, anything, or were you
No.
just chilling?
I was just chilling.
You're more.
I think I might have seen it
you-
like late middle, early high school, so not like little kid.
So what you do is exclusively get scared by things that definitively don't exist.
No, absolutely. I admit that fully. It's very true.
She'll
Zombies.
be 30 ass years old and be like, "There's zombies outside. Can you come out and
Oh
let
my
the dogs
God.
out with me?" And I'm like, "But I'm in bed."
You know, like, no, I am only scared of things that don't exist.
Hey, I mean,
I don't know.
At least you can fall back on rationality.
It's
you
the-
don't, but you could.
I could.
Have the option.
it's but what if they did? What if they did
Yeah.
exist? What if
there-
we're all wrong and they do exist?
What if there was a zombie apocalypse? What would we do?
There's other scarier things to be scared about, like bad drivers and COVID.
Yeah.
Oh God, bad
Now-
drivers.
One more question I have for you.
All right.
Did you do hot points?
No. I don't know. I tried to pay attention. It was a little hard because we were in the movie theater, so I didn't want to have my phone.
Oh,
So
true.
like
In and out.
Quint's not hot.
Quint's not
Brody's
hot.
not hot. Hooper's not hot.
Wait, who's the hottest out of the three? Hoops.
Quint.
No.
Brody?
It's Brody or Hooper.
He's got a
It's
a
not
good
Quinn.
beard.
Brody's kind of tan. So like,
Long tan and
Short
handsome.
King. Yeah.
you know, he's a little bit tall.
Oh, Brody.
He's got a piece on
He's
him.
got a good job.
He does try to shoot the shark with a revolver, which is dumb.
Hooper can have his own.
He
Classic
lands a
cop.
couple shots, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hooper has his own kind of like nerdy charm about him.
He's also like an
But maybe
expert.
Brody, he's a family man.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'd take Brody. I did
Yeah.
read, however,
He's got a uniform.
I haven't corroborated this, but I read it on imdb.com that the author's first choice in this movie was Robert Redford and Paul Newman.
Oh,
So, had it been my man, the Sundance Kid, Hot points would have been off
Who
the
would he have
chart.
had?
As Hooper and Brody, or
In
who?
my head, Sundance Kid would be Hooper and Paul Newman is the Brody.
Okay, so the Quint's
I
still
could
up
see
for
that.
grabs.
I don't. There was
He's
a.
got the cop mustache at least too.
You see it the opposite, Carl?
No, no. Sundance would be or Brody, right?
No, I
That's
think
what
the
she said. The
opposite.
opposite. She said
Oh,
Sundance
okay.
Quinn.
Oh, see, I was just seeing the
So-
picture with the
Because
mustache.
Paul
I was like,
Newman
that's
has
very
more of a
cop-like.
trustworthy,
She's-
more fatherly vibe.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're
yeah.
keeping the relationship of like overling underling between the two of them.
Yeah.
From Butch Cassidy, or was it Butch Cassidy?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. All the Western movies from last year are just melded in my brain.
I'll never forget my king.
Tombstone's the best one though. Well, no hot points because
They
Whatever.
weren't. They weren't really hot, so
Shark was the hottest.
they're all average, except for Quinn. He'd be negative.
I do have
I noticed. Oh, good.
one random question that we have to talk about because I want to know if you guys read anything about it. What was up with the shooting stars?
That's a Spielberg.
I saw those.
That's a Spielberg thing.
I
Is it a
tried to.
Was it
Spielberg
real
motif?
or no?
It was not. They tried to say it was real, but it was found out later on that it was not.
All you got to
real.
do is call Neil deGrasse Tyson, who like, no.
was not
Why
real.
So it's just
Two
like a
scenes,
thing
though.
Spielberg.
Yeah,
Spielberg
he
does?
puts it in his movies.
I didn't
But
like
it
that.
didn't seem like those scenes warranted a shooting star, though. It was just
No.
like, here's a back scene of the boat. And ooh, it's like you couldn't have done that. Like, I don't know. It seems like it could have been more prophetic or
remember?
something.
Not
I
a,
don't-
not
I
a
don't-
single one. I don't remember a
There's
There's
two
single.
two
within like
back
a
to back.
5-minute, like window.
I couldn't tell
He's
you.
like, it's like a low shot from below his face, and he's looking up out at the sky, and you see a star behind him.
It was the ET ship flying by.
Yep. Oh, is there like a Spielberg verse?
I hope
Everything's connected.
not. I hope not. I don't want to watch it if there is.
I like it.
No.
They all have a shooting star.
Remember when Spielberg made good
connection.
movies? Those were the days. Well,
Speaking of shooting stars, I thought it was strange that it was 4th of July and not a single firework went off.
Ooh. Well,
So I don't
they're
know.
all
I was like, maybe
sad.
that would have been
culturally.
funny. They're getting eaten by sharks. Boom! Like,
At least we can have fun on shore. Honestly, that would have been probably a really good, like, they could have all been at, like, watching the fireworks and he'd be like, what if we blow the shark up? Like, that could have been a nice, like,
With the
that's how we'll do
fireworks.
it. Something
Yeah.
like, well, it could have been like, that's how we figured it out. But I was just
Yeah.
like, maybe fireworks culturally just weren't so big back then and now they are.
Maybe-
Or maybe it was just like,
not.
maybe it's just like distracting from the actual
Yeah,
event. But
probably
I did notice I was like, there's no fireworks happening right now.
well, hey,
But yeah.
Jaws. Hit it or
Jaws.
miss time.
Hit.
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 Good movie. One
I
of the
don't know. I
best.
just went for that.
One of the best. I
Yeah.
think.
Is it
movie.
possible Quint survived?
No. Are you kidding me?
Did
No,
he,
he was-
fall into a trash
he was
compactor
getting-
and get?
I mean, we've seen
Parts
it in
put
Men
on
in
him.
Black. You can get it ingested and blow up, and you're okay.
Yeah, but he was getting ragdolled like Nick said before he went down there. You're not
I
Boba
think-
Fetting your way out of that one.
Yeah. I just like that would be such a kind of fun same universe where he like did survive somehow and is like super burnt and it's like a Jason thing where he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody in the town now.
The
or
after
something.
the after credit scene is just his like tattoo removed scarred arm coming out of the water.
Yeah.
Gross.
God.
Dumb. Well, here's the problem.
Yep.
We never picked an August movie.
Oh no.
Well, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh God.
If you whisper, they can't hear.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
So we're
So-
gonna do the Deadpool and Wolverine, whatever that movie's called.
I think it's called Deadpool and Wolverine.
All right, Deadpool and Wolverine's next. Thank God you remembered.
I think we're gonna do some action
think
movies
we're
in
gonna,
August.
I think
some
we're gonna
superhero.
roll off of that
Action
and do
August.
more superhero-y stuff. And
Yeah.
it's my birth month, so
This is up for change. We don't know.
we have no idea what we're doing.
We don't owe you.
We know we're gonna watch
anything.
Deadpool. Here's the problem: I haven't seen any of the previous ones, so I have work to do.
I keep reminding him,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, that movie comes out in 4 weeks. Hey, that movie comes out in 3 weeks.
I've only seen the Deadpool movies on airplanes, which are very edited.
We might need to alter our recording schedule to fit the release schedule of that movie.
We will have to do that, but
So
we
we'll
can
have
talk
to do
about
a
that
weekend record
later.
But hey, we won't bore the non-existent
won't bore the
audience.
audience
with that. So, hey, Deadpool.
Deadpool
And Wolverine.
and
Is it way
Wolverine.
too late to talk about the Shark Week thing
Yeah.
that really pissed me off? Okay.
I mean, go for it. Who cares?
Okay. Did you like this may have been 8 years ago now, but They tried to convince us all that the fucking megalodon was real and used the most bullshit like effects to like sell it to us. And this is a reputable station that is supposed to be touting the truth. These are supposed to be facts. It was like the History Channel, and it was like the megalodon's still real. We're interviewing, and then like a year later they did the mermaids that were like so fucking fake. All that to say, I think Bruce, the shark and Jaws, held up better than whatever they tried to fucking that stunt with the megalodon. That pissed me off so much.
Not food.
Oh God,
I don't-
like so bad.
So bad.
Who does that?
I've never partaken in Shark Week.
Oh, you're lost.
It
was
become
dope when we were
bastardized.
kids.
Yeah.
But now it's all, it's like what he said. It's a Discovery Channel what history is to History Channel. It just doesn't
They had
exist.
this video where like the shark came out of the water and then like woof, went right back down, like it was supposed to have sunk. But I was like, it would have been slower. It looked like somebody pulled the megalodon
physics
down.
don't work
Oh,
like
it made
that.
me so mad. I was so.
They marketed
'Cause I
it
wanted
like-
to believe.
Yeah.
I thought maybe this was real. We're interviewing real scientists, and it's just like, nope, they're lying to us. And I
It's
was
like the aliens guy from History
You
Channel.
should.
It really is,
If you
yeah.
have Max, you should watch the Jaws Mythbusters episodes
Oh,
after this. 'Cause
yeah.
Can we watch that tonight?
Maybe they get into like the production, like they build a Jaws, and
Yeah.
so it's super cool. Super cool. Hey,
There's like another 45-minute video that talks about what they would have done if the mechanical shark had worked.
I gotta watch that. That's
It's
sick.
not too different, honestly, but this guy like breaks it down by like he goes through and watches all like the docu-series, and he has like a schedule of like what was shot when and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting if you want to learn more about it. But
They call the mechanical shark the great white turd because it had so many problems.
I like it.
It's fair.
Great white turd.
The great white turd.
Incredible.
There you go.
Hey.
not the great white shit. That's slows a little.
Oh yeah.
It's family friendly.
Shark.
around
Yeah,
here.
right, yeah. It's PG. The great white shark. That might be a new term though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spielberg should have called me when I was -20. Anyway, literally, actually, -20. That's enough of that. We've been talking for 1,000 years, like an hour and a half. It's way too long. This podcast is too long. So we're gonna watch Deadpool, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch a lot of Deadpool.
We'll watch a lot of Deadpool.
I'm gonna watch so much Deadpool that hopefully I'm able to intelligently talk about the new Deadpool.
We'll find out.
If not, we'll just have a Deadpool roundtable and kind of hang out. So hey, no promises on the next one.
We'll see.
But hey, Deadpool, I get to look at Ryan Reynolds. Woo!
Yeah, you must be
Huge.
excited.
Well, isn't he all
He's kind of mangled.
crinkly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a hot way. I can't wait for hot points.
So hot.
Oh man.
So hot.
I'm excited.
You know what? Hot point prediction. She's gonna give Hugh Jackman the crown over Ryan Reynolds. 100%. 100%. 100%. Because she'll give him bullshit points for being a Greatest Showman. A bad movie.
No. No.
That's a good movie.
My hot
No,
points
it's
are
not.
Overrated
fair.
movie.
No, it's not a good movie.
Oh, boy.
That is a fun movie to watch. If you sit down and think about that movie, it is a
It's not good.
steaming pile of dog shit.
I still love it.
Our girl, what's her face?
Jenny Nichols.
Jenny Nichols. She has a breakdown
Nicholson?
about it, and
It's pretty
oh,
bad.
it's a bad movie. So hey, watch her, watch Deadpool, watch us, and join our Discord and play mini games, New York Times minis with us. Be faster than Nick. Not hard to do. And hey, we'll catch you
Real.
in the next one.